How did the path of the great Kazakh traveler Shokan Ualikhanov begin? Where did he live? What open spaces did he see around? How did his grandmother influence the future of the famous ethnographer? And are there any artifacts of those distant times? In the next issue of Welcome to Kazakhstan project, we will find all the answers by visiting the Syrymbet estate, or as it is also called, Ayganym estate.
All Kazakhstani children know from school the name of the great traveler, researcher and enlightener Shokan Ualikhanov. But few people know how his childhood passed, in what atmosphere he lived in, and what the world looked like in those years. In fact, the answers are very close, in the Ayganym district of the North Kazakhstan region, and to be more precise, in the famous Syrymbet estate. This is a Welcome to Kazakhstan project. My name is Ayganym. Let's broaden our horizons. Ayganym was the spouse of Khan of the Middle Juz Joly, that is, in fact, was daughter-in-law of the great Ablai Khan. An estate typical for that time was built especially for her in the Syrymbet area. This happened in 1824, according to the decree of the Emperor Alexander I. 5,000 rubles were allocated for the construction of the estate, a huge amount of money at that time. Everything here was impressive, but the construction was carried out by the forces of local Cossacks, who didn't know much about the traditions of the Kazakh people. Therefore, the mosque, for example, was positioned in wrong direction. Shokan Ualikhanov was a grandson of Ayganym and Joly Khan. It is not surprising that his childhood passed in this estate. It was here where he began to comprehend the basics of science. The madrasa was located in the mosque, where young Shokan learned Arabic alphabet and basics of language. Who knows, maybe without this impetus to enlightenment, there would be no trip to the Omsk Cadet Corps, with which the career of the great ethnographer began. If you remember, Shokan Ualikhanov was depicted on the first banknotes of independent Kazakhstan, namely on the 10 tenge banknote. For the younger generation, this is as much a distant past as the times of Ayganym. But no matter how times change, the name of Shokan has forever become one of the symbols of enlightenment in Kazakhstan. Shokan, since childhood, was a very smart and nimble boy. He spent his childhood in the steppe. There are numerous legends and stories. Grandmother brought him up to 12 years. Over here, at the grandmother's estate, there is an old hill. His grandmother taught him patriotism very well. She forced little Shokan to carry stones to this hill and lay out his name with stones, so that he does not forget his native places. Therefore, he became a historian, a local historian, and a traveler. The estate is a typical set of buildings of the time: a manor house with a living room, a mill, a house for servants, a bathhouse and outbuildings. By the way, the floor plan almost exactly repeats the shape of another important historical object, Ablai Khan's residence, located in Petropavl. During the 1917 revolution, the manor, already dilapidated, was dismantled into building materials, and only in 1977 the work on its restoration began. Moreover, an important date was approaching: the 150th anniversary of Shokan Ualikhanov's birth.
Во время археологических раскопок здесь были найдены очень старинные экспонаты. Это вот как основа.
During archaeological excavations, very old artifacts were found here. These are fragments of china, which once again proves that it was here where the estate was located. Antique triangular-shaped nails were found. Also, there are personal belongings of the Ualikhanov family, namely the people who last lived here, relatives of Ayganym, donated these exhibits after the museum reconstruction.
После реконструкции музея
What we see now became possible owing to Shokan himself. After all, it was his pencil drawing that became the main historical document during the state restoration. In addition, the descriptions of the estate left by the guests of Ualikhanov were useful, and these were often scientists and writers, the most educated people of that time. Akıns, singers, musicians often visited here, among them Arıstanbay, Orunbay, Janak. It is believed that precisely from the words of Akın Janak, the 6-year-old Shokan wrote down the poem Kozı and Bayan Sulu. Right now we are inside. We have yet to get acquainted with the decorations of the room, but here is how it was described by the ethnographer scientist Alexander Gaines, who visited the estate in 1865. In the hall there is an organ playing up to 12 plays, mirrors and partitions, bronze candelabra with crystal pendants, wall sconces, small silk curtains on the doors trimmed with a thin but wide agraman. In the living room, instead of Kornilov vases, there are Chinese ones. All floors are lined with Tashkent and Persian carpets. Tiger, leopard and bear skins are covering the furniture. Ayganym saw her mission not only in promoting science, but also in spreading knowledge among local residents. In the madrasa located in the estate, they taught not only the basics of religion, but also natural science and languages. For children from neighboring villages, this was a rare chance to get an excellent education by the standards of that time. In addition, Ayganym warmly welcomed Russian scientists who conducted geodesic and engineering work in the north of Kazakhstan. Even the Decembrists were her guests. Inside, the estate is furnished with interior items of past centuries. You can observe 19th century furniture and old chests, kitchenware, and the carpets. The purpose of many items you can't even guess now. The exposition of the museum estate has several halls. The main one is dedicated to Shokan Ualikhanov, another hall to the story of his trips, and of course there is a hall telling about his native land. The estate has over 5,000 exhibits. The pearl of the collection is the chest of Shokan Ualikhanov, donated to the museum by his descendant Shota Ualikhanov. By the way, now we are in the room where little Shokan slept. Syrymbet estate is open to tourists from all over the world from spring to early winter. Presidents of 3 countries, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan, have been here, and the geography of other guests covers almost the entire planet. Getting to the Ayganym estate from the capital of Kazakhstan is very simple. First, you need to get to Kokshetau city, then drive 90 kilometers to the west to the administrative center of the Aytau district, Saumalkol village. And from there, some 40 minutes by car and you are at your destination. Syrymbet estate is an amazing place where we can see with our own eyes how Shokan Ualikhanov's childhood passed, touch the objects of past centuries, feel the connection of the past and the present. Every resident of Kazakhstan, any resident of the planet, must visit this treasury of history.